We didn't shout, no broken promises, no doubt. The room was quiet, the air too still, but something ended against our will. I watched you smile like nothing had changed, but your eyes told stories soft and strange. Distance grew between your heart and mine, and I held hope, though it slipped in time. Your messages came slower each day, mine stayed long, but you drifted away. I learned to hear the silence first, before you ever said the words. We didn't break up, we just stopped talking, and somehow that hurt more than goodbye. No last touch, no final sound, just two hearts fading out. I kept waiting, you kept walking out of something we never closed. We didn't shatter, we just stopped talking. I'm still here alone. I replayed every little sign, the way you laughed, the way you sighed. I told myself you were just tired, but silence started to feel like fire. I reached for you in empty space, but found nothing but a missing place. Love was quiet and I couldn't fight, even though I wanted to hold you tight. Your name stayed bright on my phone, but it felt heavier every time alone. I was holding on to what I knew, while you were already gone from view. We didn't break up, we just stopped talking, and somehow that hurt more than goodbye. No last word, no final glance, just hearts lost in circumstance. I kept hoping, you kept drifting further from the girl you knew. We didn't end it, we just faded, like love sometimes quietly does. If silence is a choice, then you chose not to stay. If love is more than noise, why did it disappear this way? I would have fought, I would have cried, if it meant you'd still be mine, but you left without a sound, and that's We didn't say goodbye. We didn't even try. We just stopped talking, and somehow that was the hardest part. Snow didn't ask to fall tonight. It just came down quiet and wide, like the way you slowly left, without a reason, without regret. The streets look soft, the world feels calm, but my chest feels far from warm. Your footsteps fade into the cold, and I'm still holding what we were before. Winter doesn't need a sound to let me know you're not around. The colder it gets, the more I see you're already far from me. Snow didn't ask to fall, just like you didn't ask to leave. It covered all our memories like they were never meant to be. Your scarf is still here by the door, like you might come back once more. I touch it, but it doesn't feel like anything that's real. The city moves, the lights stay bright, but I'm frozen in this night. Love doesn't always say goodbye. Sometimes it disappears in time. Winter learned my name somehow. Like you were never really there. Snow didn't ask to fall, just like you didn't ask to leave. It buried all our yesterdays under what we used to be. I kept hoping you'd turn back, but silence said it all. Snow didn't ask to fall, and neither did my heart break at all. If love could melt like snow, maybe I could let you go, but the cold stays in my chest. when spring comes, I'll still recall the night snow didn't last to fall. Waited without asking if you were coming back. I told myself that loving you means never holding you back. I kept your place beside me, like time would understand, as if my patience alone could bring you back again. I never I was afraid of the truth, because waiting felt safer than hearing we were through. I waited without asking, because asking felt like losing you. I stayed right where you left me, hoping love would still come through. I stayed hoping you'd return. I waited without asking, and that's the lesson I had to learn. I watched the days pass slowly, like they were standing still. I spoke your name in silence when no one else would hear. I told my heart to be calm, to trust what love once was. But time doesn't stop for anyone, not even for us. I read too much into nothing, every sign, every space. I learned the hardest truth in love is knowing when to wait. I waited without asking, because asking felt like pain. I held on to the feeling that you'd walk back in again. You found another ending, I stayed stuck in between. I waited without asking for someone who wasn't waiting for me. If waiting was a promise, then I kept mine to the end. But love is more than patience, it needs two hearts to stand. I don't regret the time I gave, or the nights I stayed awake, but I wish I knew the difference between love and mistake. I waited without asking, until waiting broke my heart. I thought staying meant devotion, but it only kept me apart. Now I'm learning how to let go of the girl I used to be. just time, and I waited for too long. I hear your name in crowded rooms, and everything goes quiet. It lingers longer than it should, like words I never said. I say it softly in my mind, as if it might still stay. But every time I speak your name, it sounds like you walked away. I never learned how to say it without my heart falling apart. Some names don't need explanations, they already know where to start. Your name sounds like goodbye, even when no one says it. It carries all the things we lost and all the things we didn't. I try to say it like before, but something's changed inside. Your name sounds like goodbye, no matter how I try. Your letters sit inside my phone like they're still alive, but reading them feels heavier than letting them die. I remember how you said my name like it meant something real. Now mine just echoes back to me with nothing left to feel. I don't blame you for leaving, I just miss who we were. Some love stays in the memory, even when it can't return. Your name sounds like goodbye, every time it crosses my mind. It breaks my heart so quietly, I almost think I'm fine. I whisper it into the night, like it might still reply. Your name sounds like goodbye, and I don't know why. If love could change a sound, I'd make your name stay. But every letter holds the truth that you're alright away. I wish I learned to say it without breaking inside, but some names carry endings no matter how we try. Your name sounds like goodbye, and it always will. It holds the last of what we were and what we couldn't feel. I'll carry it in silence like a secret I can't hide. Your name sounds like goodbye, and I'll love you from this side. I won't say it out loud, but I still hear it every night. stayed face down on the floor. I told myself you were just late, that love doesn't disappear this way. I checked the time, I checked again, like minutes might still change their mind. Every sound outside my room made me believe you crossed that line. I kept the lights on just in case you thought of me and needed space, but silence answered every thought before I knew what it had taught. That was the night you didn't call, when I knew it was ending. No words to break me, no goodbye, just truth slowly settling in. I stayed awake until the dawn, hoping you'd still remember. That was the night you didn't call, and nothing felt the same after. Your name stayed quiet on my screen, like it had never meant a thing. I held my breath between each shower, as if waiting still had power. I replayed every last I miss you, every promise we once made. But love doesn't explain itself when it quietly walks away. I never asked for reassurance, I didn't want to seem afraid, but silence made the answer clear in the calmest, cruelest way. That was the night you didn't call, when I knew it was ending. No words to break me, no goodbye, just truth slowly settling in. I stayed awake until the dawn, hoping you'd still remember. That was the night you didn't call, and nothing felt the same after. That was the night you didn't You loved me like a secret, like saying it too loud might break. Your hands held back their feelings, your heart was always late. You smiled but never stayed long enough to let me see all the words you never said were slowly burying me. I try to read your silence like it meant something kind, but love that's spoken softly is easy to leave behind. Love spoken softly is hard to hear at all. It fades, but You stood beside me gently, but never all the way. Like you were halfway leaving, even when you chose to stay. I learned to lower my voice so you wouldn't feel afraid, but shrinking for your comfort was the price I always paid. I thought quiet meant sincerity, that calm was something real, but love needs more than silence to prove what it can feel. Love spoken softly doesn't fight to survive. It waits until it disappears and calls it being kind. I held on to every whisper you let fade instead. Love spoken softly is the love you almost said. If loving loud was dangerous, I tried to keep it low, but hearts aren't meant to whisper what they need the most. I don't blame you for your fear or the way you held back truth. I just wish your quiet love knew how to choose me too. Love spoken softly left before I knew. I stayed listening for something that was never coming through. Now I know love needs courage more than gentle intent. Love spoken softly is how I learned what silence meant. Some hearts need volume, not just care. You left quietly, like you were trying not to wake the past. No slammed doors, no tears, just moments slipping fast. Your shoes still by the doorway, your coat still on the chair. Like part of you forgot to leave, or part of me hoped you were still there. Something, a reason to believe, but your goodbye was in the way you wouldn't look at me. You left quietly, no words to say it's done. No ending scene, no final line, just love coming undone. I stood there holding silence while you walked out of sight. You left quietly, and that's what hurt me that night. I replayed the sound of nothing over and over again. How something so loud inside my chest could end without an end. I thought love would announce itself when it was ready to go, but it just slipped out softly, like it didn't want me to know. I would have fought, I would have cried if you had let me try, but you chose the gentlest way to say loud, so I know for certain this pain is allowed. You left quietly, but the damage stayed. Some endings don't need shouting to feel this way. I learned to live with silence and the truth it hides. You left quietly, but my heart heard every step that night. Some goodbyes whisper, and they last the longest. I asked you something simple. You didn't answer right away. Your eyes found the window. That's when I knew you'd change. You smiled like nothing happened, like I imagined the pain. But silence speaks in details, and yours was calling my name. You didn't say you were leaving, but your eyes already knew. Some truths don't need explaining, they show up in what we do. It was the way you looked away that told me I was losing you. Not the words you never said, but the things you wouldn't do. I watched love leave your eyes before it ever left your mouth. It was the way you looked away that broke me down. I replay that single moment more than any goodbye, because love doesn't always end. feels the way I do. Cold in all the places that once belonged to you. The streets are pale and quiet, like they remember too. Every breath turns into air the moment I think of you. I stopped asking why it hurts or when the pain will end. Winter doesn't need a reason, it just stays and understands. Winter knows my heart because it beats the same. Slow and tired, holding on to something without a name. I don't fight the cold anymore, I let it fall apart. Winter knows my heart better than you ever did. I wear your memory lightly, like a coat that's worn too thin. It keeps me from completely breaking, but lets the cold come in. I see us in every window, reflections passing by. Love looks different in the winter when you're learning how to cry. I used to fear the emptiness, the silence in the dark. Now it feels familiar, like winter in my heart. Winter knows my heart, every crack and scar. It doesn't ask me to be warm or forget who you are. I've learned to walk through lonely nights without a guiding spark. Winter knows my heart and never asks too much. If seasons really change us, then let this one stay. I don't need another spring to tell me what we were. Some love is meant for memory, not meant to survive. Winter taught me how to breathe when love said goodbye. Winter knows my heart and I let it in. I stopped trying to escape what I couldn't win. I'll carry this quiet season wherever I start. Winter knows my heart and keeps it safe in the dark. Some hearts learn to live in winter. I still set 2 cups on the table, like habits don't know how to end. One for me, one for you, like you might walk in again. The kettle sings in the morning, the same song it always knew. I pour the tea, then stop myself, remembering I'm alone, not two. Some routines are stronger than the truth I try to face. Love leaves behind small echoes that time cannot erase. I still said 2 cups without thinking it through. My hands remember loving even when my heart knows the truth. I reach across the table where you used to sit. I still said 2 cups, like part of me hasn't accepted it. Your chair is still pushed back, like you just stepped away. I tell myself it doesn't matter, but it feels louder every day. I don't cry like I used to. The tears I learned how to rest, but silence fills the space you left right here inside my chest. I pack away your memories, but they don't stay gone. Love doesn't leave all at once, it lingers in what goes on. I still said 2 cups when the nights feel long. I talk to empty spaces like I'm not completely wrong. I know you're not coming back, but my hands still insist. I still said 2 cups because forgetting takes practice. One day I'll set just 1, and it won't feel like a loss, but healing happens quietly, not all at once. I don't miss you every moment, just the ones that stay. Like mornings, like small habits that refuse to fade away. I still said 2 cups, but I'm learning now to pour a little less sorrow into the life I allow. Love doesn't vanish suddenly, it loosens its grip. I still said 2 cups, but someday I won't miss it. Some love stays in the smallest things. Wrote this in the quiet when no one else was near. Every word was meant for you in a song you'll never hear. I played it in my bedroom with the light lights turned down low, like if I kept it soft enough, you never have to know. I didn't want your pity or to pull you back again. I just needed somewhere to place the love that never ends. This is a song you'll never hear, but it's always been about you. Every note I couldn't say, every truth I never proved. I don't need you to remember or to feel what I feel here. I just had to let it live in a song you'll never hear. Hid your name in metaphors so no one would ask why. Some things are easier to sing than say out loud and cry. I almost sent it late one night, then closed my phone instead. Some feelings don't want answers, they just want somewhere safe to rest. I'm not asking you to listen or to come back into view. This song isn't an invitation, it's a goodbye meant just for you. This is a song you'll never hear, but it holds what I can't lose. All the love I couldn't give and the parts of me I bruised. I don't blame you for the silence or the way you disappeared. I just needed to survive with a song you'll never hear. If music could erase you, I would have stopped by now. But every melody remembers who I was loving then somehow. I won't play this for forgiveness or hope you change your mind. Some songs exist for healing, not for crossing lines. This is a song you'll never hear, and that's how it should stay. Some love is meant for memory, not meant to find its way. I'll sing it when I need to and let it disappear. This will always be a song you'll never hear. I wrote it just to let you go. I never asked you to stay. I learned how to love you by getting out of the way. I watched you grow distant and told myself it was fine, because loving you quietly felt safer than losing you loud. I kept my feelings folded like letters never sent. I thought love meant endurance, not asking what it meant. I loved you silently, beside you always, but never in your way. I learned to speak in glances instead of what I'd say. I told myself you knew even if I stayed unheard. But hearts don't read intentions, they listen to the words. I confuse being patient with being invisible. I thought quiet love was strong, but it was breakable. I loved you silently, like it was something kind, but hiding how I felt was leaving me behind. You never saw the tears I never let you see. I loved you silently, and you forgot about me. If love needs courage, I didn't have enough. I chose to stay unspoken when it got hard, when it got rough. I don't blame you for leaving. You loved the way you could. I just wish my quiet heart had been understood. I loved you silently, but I'm learning now that love deserves a voice, even if it breaks somehow. I won't disappear again to keep someone at peace. I loved you silently. Now I'm learning how to speak. Some love needs sound to survive. The air felt lighter that afternoon, like nothing bad could happen yet. We laughed about the smallest things without knowing what we'd forget. The sun stayed longer on your face than it ever did before. I memorized the way you smiled, like I knew it wouldn't last much more. We talked about tomorrow like it was something real, but some tomorrows disappear before you know how they feel. That was our last warm day before the cold moved in. The last time love felt simple you turn back, I'd still be here, not asking questions, not holding fear. The door is closed, but not my heart. It's been waiting from the start. I don't replay your leaving, I replay the sound of you. Some love doesn't disappear, it just learns how to wait for you. If you turn back, I wouldn't ask why. I just let the moment pass us by. I wouldn't beg, I wouldn't fight. I'd just hold you for one more night. I learned how to breathe alone in the space you used to fill. But loving you is something my heart does against my will. I don't expect forever or promises to keep, just the truth inside your eyes before you fall asleep. I know some doors stay closed for reasons we can't mend, but hope doesn't ask for logic, it just waits until the end. If you turn back, I'd stay the same. I wouldn't ask you what has changed. I'd trade my pride for something real, just to feel what we used to feel. Maybe love isn't timing, maybe it's choosing to stay. Maybe we both got scared and let each other fade. I don't live inside the past, I just visit now and then to remember how it felt when you were still my friend. If you turn back, I'd let you go. If that's what loving you means now, I'd hold the moment softly and then release it somehow. Some love stays open even when it's cracked. If you turn back, I know how to love you back. Some doors stay open quietly. was a space we never crossed. Words stayed right behind our lips, afraid afraid of what they caused. We learned to speak in pauses, in glances we held too long. Love lived inside the quiet before it knew it was wrong. I felt you pulling back slowly like the tide against the shore. Nothing ended all at once, it just wasn't there anymore. The silence between us said what we couldn't say. It grew louder every night as love slipped away. No anger, no blame, just distance growing strong. The silence between us was where we went wrong. We sat in the same room, but lived in different days. I held on to what we were, you learned how to walk away. Every "are you okay?" meant more than it seemed, but we chose to protect the peace instead of protecting the dream. I waited for you to reach out, you waited for me to speak, but silence doesn't choose a side, it just makes the strong feel weak. And the silence between us built walls we couldn't see. It filled every empty space between you and me. We didn't stop loving, we just stopped trying. The silence between us was where love started hiding. If I could return to one moment, I'd break the calm we kept. I'd say the words we swallowed and face what we never said. Some love dies screaming, some love slowly fades. Ours disappear quietly in too many quiet days. The silence between us is still with me now. It follows every memory and every vow. I don't regret the love or the truth we lost, but I learned love needs sound, no matter the cost. We never said goodbye, we just let the silence win.